Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is Dramageddon Part 3. That is what I've named my series, covering all the drama surrounding Gabriel Zamora, Laura Lee, mannymua, Nikita Dragun, and Jeffree Star. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, I'll link them in the description box below, but without further ado, let's jump right into Part 3. Okay, so in Part 2, I read the apologies / statements of all except for Gabby's due to the length, but I mentioned that I wanted to discuss them in depth as I personally believe that the apologies / statements in this case played a crucial role in how the public responded to the situation. We already discussed his initial apology, which he followed with this very lengthy version. Now, I heard people saying that this version was likely prepared as damage control by his team, and that may be the case. However, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Sometimes people have difficulty articulating their thoughts clearly and effectively, so just because he may have had a hand compiling this apology, that doesn't necessarily mean it's insincere. I think he acknowledged his mistakes, held himself accountable for his actions, and apologized without excuses and without placing blame on others. Unfortunately, I think he contradicted a portion of his apology when he went on to potentially shade Manny. Next, we have Laura's apology. As with Gabby's apology, people took issue with the fact that it came off as if she had her team write it for her. Although she indicated that she wrote it herself while sitting on a plane for 12 hours, in my opinion, the reference to future work with charities did give it a very PR type feel. Another controversial point of Laura's apology was that she basically blamed her ignorance on the fact that she was raised in the South, which some found to be very offensive. M says, "Do not blame your racist past on Alabama. As someone who lives in Alabama, I can tell you by doing things like this, you are perpetuating a stereotype that the rest of the world believes. Alabama is not a racist place. The people who raised you and the people you surrounded yourself with must have been." Laura responded to M saying, "I didn't mean to make it look like Alabama was the reason I wasn't educated. I was from a sheltered area and I should have known better. I'm wrong. I've grown up, matured, moved to a diverse area, and continue to learn about diversity and respect for others." Let me also point out that Laura was around 23 years old in 2012. Another thing that people took issue with was the fact that Laura was liking tweets minimizing the situation, such as this one where B said, "The way people are treating Laura Lee makes me sick. If you're that upset over some shit that was said years ago, grow the fuck up." Anyway, as I indicated in part 2, a separate batch of tweets from Laura's past surfaced shortly after the first round. The first of which being, "How do you blindfold a Chinese person? Put floss over their eyes. Hashtag dumb blank." Followed by, "Blank in Paris? What? I thought they couldn't afford to leave Compton. LOL." Now, I don't know if these tweets are real. Laura indicated in the following 3 responses to people dropping the screenshots in her timeline that they were fake, which is something she didn't do with the first round. However, the fact that she totally wiped her Twitter account makes it look as though she was deleting potential evidence. Personally, I think deactivating and mass deleting her account was incredibly incriminating. Let's go back to Manny's quote tweet of Gabby's apology. People took issue with his statement because they felt as though he threw Gabby under the bus rather than simply apologizing. There are also those who still question what Manny did in this situation to warrant an apology. As I indicated in part 1, Manny liked Gabby's tweet, which was a direct dig at Jeffree. Manny claims, "We took that photo with the intent of recreating Kylie's 21st birthday pic with her sisters. The reason I liked it was because it was a photo of us 4 being silly the night before. I didn't read the caption as I had been running around. Once I was notified about the caption from you all, I removed my like and asked Gabby to take it down as the photo was supposed to be a fun recreation and nothing more." Tony responded to Manny saying, "Why do your followers have to notify you it was wrong? You knew what it was when you liked it. You're not stupid. Y'all been new, sis." Manny responded to Tony saying, "When I say they notified me, I mean I checked Twitter and people were adding me on Gabby's tweet. Stop being so jealous and childish, etc. That's when I looked at the tweet for what it actually was and unliked it and asked Gabby to delete it." Holly replied to Manny saying, "Like, I'm so tired of the excuses. You didn't see the caption?" Manny responded to Holly saying, "That's the honest to God truth. I didn't read the caption because I was all at the beach and I wasn't paying attention, but regardless of my intentions, I realize how it looks, and for that, I take full responsibility." Whether you believe Manny either 1, knew what the caption would be ahead of time, or 2, read the caption before liking the tweet is totally up to you. I've seen a lot of people questioning Manny's involvement in the situation, and I just wanted to clarify that his involvement hinges on whether he knew about the caption prior to liking and whether he co-signed the dig at Jeffree. Moving on. Interestingly, Francis replies to Manny saying, "Do you think you'd ever sit down with Jeffree and hash out whatever is between you two?" Manny replies to Francis saying, "Honestly, yes, I would. I'm tired of this he said, she said that we get put through." Chelsea replies to Manny's quote tweet of Gabby's apology and says, No, Manny, stay the fuck out of it and think about who your friends are. He drug you down, did a half-ass apology that no one is buying. And by he, she was referring to Gabby, obviously. Manny responded to Chelsea saying, "Trust me, it's been an eye-opening 24 hours. If I were Gabby, I'd probably interpret Manny's tweets as him throwing me under the bus, so I can definitely understand why he unfollowed Manny on Twitter and Instagram the following day. As of today being August 21st, Gabby has not refollowed Manny on either platform." Interestingly, he did like this tweet from Wedgman Simon saying, "Too many fake friends." Meanwhile, Jeffree tweets, "Imagine not personally apologizing to me because your ego is so fucking big. Hashtag can't relate." During this time, Laura was also doing some clarifying of her own. In response to a commenter saying that Laura, Manny, Nikita, and Gabby were ganging up on Jeffree in their photo, Fat to Figure Girl says, "Only one of them has actually said anything about Jeffree, so how are they ganging up on him? People are assuming they all agree with or are saying the same thing about Jeffree that Gabriel is." Laura responds to Fat to Figure Girl saying, "Me, Manny, and Nikita didn't have any part in the tweet that Gabriel posted. We asked him to take it down and he did." Aaron responded to Laura saying, "But you all liked the picture here on Twitter, so none of y'all read the caption?" Laura responds back saying, "No, we didn't." Aaron responds again with a screenshot saying, "But like, y'all did," to which Laura replied back saying, "I did not." Now the screenshot clearly shows that Nikita liked it while everyone else was tagged. I don't know what this person was trying to prove with this particular screenshot. However, Laura went on to clarify the situation even further when Alexa wrote, "Laura, you and Manny both liked the picture though, so it was all good until people started digging up your disgusting comments. Then it was bad he posted the photo? I'm confused." Laura replied and said, "I did not ever like or comment on the photo. Manny did without reading the caption, and within a few seconds he removed his comment and like." For those still unclear on whether Laura liked or commented on the photo, the answer is no. In part 1, I clarified that Laura was telling the truth in this case. Only Manny and Nikita liked it. Laura did not engage with the tweet. There are a lot of things to come for her about, but this is not one of them. Moving on to Nikita's 2 very confusing apologies. The first of which was done on IG stories, which was an absolute clusterfuck.
Hi dragons, I'm finally back home. I mean, it was a very, very long day of traveling yesterday, from Amsterdam all the way to LA, and I'm just finally back home, and honestly, there's no place I'd rather be, and I'm just so happy to be home right now. Ooh, girl, but even with all that traveling, with them losing my bag on the way back here, and the jet lag, and everything else, there's still some things I gotta say. I just wanted to say that I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago, 6 years ago. I mean, even at that time, I was like 15 as a boy in Virginia. And I know I have said some very insensitive things, especially when I was younger. I take full responsibility, but I know I'm constantly changing as a person and evolving. I've literally changed from that 15-year-old boy in middle school, trying desperately to fit in and trying desperately to find who I was as a person. I mean, I've changed physically. I mean, girl, I have a whole new motherfucking face than I did. I've changed emotionally as a person, and my whole being is changed after transitioning into female and going through this whole process these past 3 years. I mean, it's just like, I am not the same person. Even with all these fake tweets and accusations and whatever else, I just wanted to say that I know who I am as a person at the end of the day, and I just wanted to express my absolute love and gratitude to my dragons, to anyone who supports me, to my followers, because without you guys, I would never have gotten to this point, and I would have never found the courage to really become who I truly am. And I just wanted to say I love you guys so much, and that's all.
Now, the issue people had with this particular apology was that she kind of glosses over her past tweets and relates the fact that she's evolved and grown to her transition from male to female. While she did indicate that she takes full responsibility for the things she said, later on in her story, she goes on to refer to the tweets as fake. So it's like, if the tweets were fake, why are you taking quote-unquote full responsibility for something you didn't do? Or, if those tweets are in fact authentic and you're taking quote-unquote full responsibility for them, how can you contradict yourself in the same story and call them fake? Nikita subsequently deleted her first apology and took to Twitter to compose her second, which was just as, if not more confusing than her first. She's still very vague about what it is she's apologizing for and makes no reference to previously referring to the tweets as fake. In my opinion, both apologies came off very half-assed and insincere. Speaking of Nikita, there was another past tweet of hers that I missed in part 2. She says, "Black girls twerk, Hispanic girls hip roll, Indian girls belly dance, and white girls watch. Anyway, back to the timeline. Shockingly, Gabby went on to tweet, "I'm sorry at Jeffree Star, trust me, it's been an eye-opening 24 hours. Now, some may have been under the impression that this was a genuine apology to Jeffree, however, this was actually a dig at Manny. As you can see, Gabby uses the exact same wording as Manny used when Manny responded to a tweet from someone saying that Gabby was dragging him down. Shortly after that tweet, Gabby unfollowed Manny on Twitter and Instagram. The dig at Manny was also, in my opinion, Gabby throwing shade at Jeffree's "imagine not personally apologizing to me because your ego is so fucking big" tweet, which made his apology where he made reference to acting out of pettiness and emotion seem insincere, being that he's right back at it again. During this time, a screenshot from an old Snapchat of Manny surfaced in which the caption read, "When your Uber driver doesn't speak English." Now, as we know, all four influencers received a shit ton of backlash once their past came back to haunt them, but something that one of my supporters pointed out to me was what he called mob hypocrisy, which I of course found very interesting. He mentioned that he had performed random searches on a few people who were coming for Laura's tweeted apology, and he noticed that a number of them had interesting things on their own records. For instance, Haley replied to Laura's apology saying, "Doesn't matter where you are or are from to know how to respect people and learn about different cultures," followed by, "You're still literally blaming being a racist on where you are from? I am from a hick town in mid-Missouri and still know how to respect humans. Just take full blame on yourself." Now, Haley had no issue coming for Laura, but upon further investigation, Haley really doesn't have a leg to stand on when she used the N-word on several occasions in 2016, in addition to a homophobic slur. Next, we have Aaron, who replied to Laura saying, "Educated, in quotations, not to be a racist is a thing? Isn't it just common human decency to be nice to everyone? LOL. Yeah, you'd think so, Aaron. However, you used the word in 2011, so take a seat, honey." Next, we have Coco, who replied to Gabby's apology saying, "Damage is done," with a gif of Jeffree. Well, Coco, if the damage is done, then you've been done since 2010 when you used the N-word. Next, we have Breezy, who replied to Gabby mocking his apology with a gif when she's been using the N-word since 2012. These are just a few random examples, and I imagine there's a lot more. What my supporter Scott was pointing out was that it's interesting how this mob works. They're quick to get on their high horses and condemn others without doing an audit of their own Twitter accounts. It makes me wonder how many of the people dragging Laura, Manny, Gabby, and Nikita have history of the same behavior. Now, I'm not trying to minimize anything that was said by any of the influencers. I'm simply pointing out that there are a lot of people living in glass houses. Moving on. Now, of course, this incident inspired people to branch off to other influencers to see whether anyone else had any past racist tweets. The following are the ones that were brought to my attention. We have this one from Jenny69 in 2014, making her 20 years old at the time. I only managed to get one screenshot, but there were a lot more. I went back to collect the rest of the screenshots, which were obtained through a link, and she had already deleted them, as you can see here. In this screenshot, she said, "When people say, 'Don't worry, one day you'll meet someone better,' and I'm here like, well, where the blank at?" Next, we have a whole slew of tweets from Daisy Marquez, who is dating Manny's younger brother, Nick. Interestingly, as I mentioned in part 2, Jeffree recently tweeted a link to a video exposing Nick for past racist tweets to a fellow drama channel. Daisy's tweets are from 2013, making her around 16 at the time. Her tweets read as follows: "Catch it, blank. Next, to me, beef over a guy is pointless unless you've been with that blank for years and he's your soulmate and shit. Next, I saw my blank DJ Trippy today and I was kinda happy. LOL. Next, last time I remember I wasn't chained to no blank. Next, I hate when my tweets turn into drafts, making a blank feel like that tweet isn't worthy to be tweeted. Next, what did I tell y'all? I saw my blank Aaron. LOL. Next, God forgive me, I've been hurt by a couple blank. That's why I wake up, say my prayers, and be like, fuck a blank. Next, you know what they say, trust no blank or bitch. Next, this blank is stalking me. Next, blank snores like never before, and then just plain blank, followed by fight little blank. Next, this blank, LOL. Next, cause I'm a real blank and real blanks sleep. Next, I wish a blank would, LOL. Next, blank you move and I'll cut you. And then in 2014, she said I was calling you duh blank, followed by my blank. Then of course we have Holly Boone, which I did an entire video on. If you want to check that out, I'll leave the link in the description box below. Next, we have quite a few from Isabel Bedoya. I covered the entire story between her and Eden the doll in a 3-part series, which I'll also link in the description box for those interested. Now, if you recall, in one of the 3 videos I made on the cheating drama, I mentioned that while she was on the BoxyCharm brand trip, she was heard using transphobic slurs such as the T-word, but she was also heard saying the N-word, which she denied. Although these tweets are from 2012 and 2013, making her around 15 or 16 at the time, according to several witnesses who attended at the March 2018 BoxyCharm brand trip in Mexico, this word is still very much in her vocabulary. Next we have Kim Tai. Now I know Kim has addressed these comments in the past, but given recent events, they were brought up again and she took to Instagram to address them. She wrote, "Hey friends, if you could read the next few slides, it would mean a lot to me. A few months ago in May, I had received a message from a subscriber with screenshots of tweets that I had tweeted a few years ago. I believe I was 18 to 20 years old at the time. Here are a few screenshots of them, screenshotted by other accounts online. In the first tweet she says, 'I'm the only one that get the job done. I don't know an N that can cover for me.' Next, 'I've never been this mean before, but shut your fucking 5-year-old mouth. Stuff a dick down your throat or something, hashtag bitch.' Next, 'I think the only reason I won't date an Asian guy is because I'm scared I might laugh if I ever see his penis, hashtag SMH. Next, 'Who are you trying to fool with your blue contacts? You're Asian.' Next, 'What's a 12-year-old Asian girl that's not a virgin? Some young hoe.' Next, 'I can't believe I just saw an Asian with blonde hair. There should be a rule that Asians can't do that and need to stop, hashtag you look weird AF. Next, 'Not your typical Asian. I actually have a social life, hashtag gasp.' She went on to say, 'And I'm sure there were more reckless, inappropriate, disrespectful, and immensely stupid things that I've said during that time. When this was brought to my attention, I was incredibly shocked, embarrassed, and disappointed. While I was reading every single tweet, I wrote an apology thread right away on Twitter, but I do feel the need to apologize again and continue to. I've always been very open to the online community as best I can, especially if it's something I've done wrong or have said or done to offend anyone, whether I know them or not. There's absolutely zero excuse for my behavior online during that time. I was really stupid, disgusting, uneducated, small-minded, disrespectful, and lacked a lot of common sense and self-respect. It's very clear that I used social media the wrong way, said the wrong things, and tried my best for attention online, even if it meant I needed to say things that weren't appropriate or were hurtful to other people. When I was going through all these tweets, I was shocked because I had completely forgotten that I used to tweet such reckless things. But while reading them, I do remember that during that time, I wanted to be considered cool and post lyrics using inappropriate words. I would judge other people online because I wasn't happy with myself. I would purposely tweet things to get boys' attention, or I would quite honestly make myself look easy so I could get attention from people who didn't care about me. I find that sad, and if I could go back to the person I was when I was 18 to 20 years old, I would knock some common sense into her. I'm grateful that people will point out my mistakes because I'll always be first to apologize if I've done something wrong. Being in the public eye, there are many things that go around about me, and I'll always apologize or be honest about the ones that matter and the ones that are my fault. I don't really believe in being exposed or tea. I simply think that when you mess up, you own up to it, learn hard about your lesson, and grow from it. I wish that I wasn't so stupid growing up, but I'm glad that through the years, I've experienced things that hit me hard, that have helped me grow and change my perspective on life and my values. Thank you for bringing this to the world. I will always be ashamed of the person I was, but I hope that people have seen my growth through time. I still have a lot more to learn and will most likely make more mistakes, but I won't ever repeat them. I hope this sets an example of what not to be, and I wish I learned this way back then. I think one of the things that makes me disappointed the most in this situation is not only the person I was and the things that I said hurt other people and the fact that I had no respect for myself or others around me, but also because I know that I have a platform and I influence a lot of young people around the world. Although I am incredibly ashamed of who I was, I hope that this lesson of mine also becomes a lesson of yours. Please don't ever be the person I was when I was younger. You're so much better. My deepest apology to anyone who was offended or hurt because of my words during that time, but also during this very moment. My apology can only do so much, and I don't wish for it to cure anything. What I do hope is that you've seen me grow and change through my time online. I hope you'll appreciate my apology even if you don't accept it. Thank you for reading this. I'm always open to any direct conversations. She then went on to say that Instagram deleted her post as it violated their guidelines, but once again invited her audience to message her. In my opinion, this is how an apology is done. Now, I found more of Kim's past tweets, which include homophobic slurs, slut-shaming, and more use of the N-word if you want to pause the video and read through them. Kim also went a step further and uploaded a YouTube video discussing the issue, which I'll leave the link for in the description box below. Before I go, I just want to provide a few updates on topics I touched on in part 2. I mentioned that Manny posted this photo to Instagram in which he was holding hands with his date. I made reference to what appeared to be a hospital bracelet on on either of their arms. As of yet, I have not been able to clarify whose wrist the bracelet was on or whether Manny was in the hospital. Also in part 2, I mentioned that there was an influencer who met with Jeffree around 4 weeks ago at this point for a potential business meeting who was going around to different groups of influencers telling them that Jeffree used the N-word several times during their meeting. To clarify, it was not a formal meeting with business executives or anything like that. More like a friendly meeting between two influencers discussing potential use of Jeffree's company for their merch line. Shortly after part 2 went live, I received this screenshot where Giselle said, "Okay, so supposedly there is an influencer you have met with about 3 weeks ago telling stories about you saying racist remarks. Then there's Gabriel saying that you do that too before your relationship ended. At Jeffree Star, is this true?" Jeffree responds saying, "Who are you referring to? I don't hang out with anyone." Jeffree quickly deleted his response. Now, I know that this influencer knows that I was referring to them, and I know that they know that this story is about to come out and they are attempting damage control, but as Jeffree says, the truth always comes out. The last thing I want to update you on is Jeffree's fan pages. Jeffree Tracker has advised that their account was removed by Instagram for violating the terms of service. As I indicated in part 2, they have gone ahead and made another account. Jeffree Star Updates, which I believe was the largest Jeffree Star fan account at one point, has changed their handle to Max Updates and is no longer a dedicated Jeffree fan account. That's a wrap for part 3, you guys. There is so much more to this drama. Please keep in mind that this is a series and I want to cover it accurately. I'm not interested in being the first with the latest info. I want to be thorough and provide the facts in chronological order as I always have, so please trust the process. I promise no bone will be left uncovered. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at HereForTheT2, and I'll talk to you soon in part 4. Bye!